Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video from the Power Bomb Project. I am one of your hosts, Daniel, joined by my other two hosts.
It's Bourbon.
Chris.
And Chris is feeling a little under the weather today, folks, so if he seems a little slow on camera, don't bully him
Hey,
too
dude,
much
you
in the
can't
comments.
say that. What the fuck? You can't say that.
He doesn't have COVID or anything. Don't worry.
Bourbon, you can't say that either. We'll get fucking demonetized if we don't make any money.
All right, and today we're going to be talking about why WWE having less premium live events will be great. We have 5 points to make today, and I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's just get started. So the first point is that there are too many premium live events a year right now. There are 13 as of right now. One a month, plus one as well on top of that. And while you may think that's not too bad, here's the thing. A lot of these shows kind of feel the same because you have the same exact match structure of like 5 to 8 matches every single pay-per-view. And they all have some kind of weird gimmick. And other than that, they're either Big Four shows or Saudi Arabia shows with, attraction matches built towards it. And I guess we could just, clean out some of that junk, I guess is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that's complete. Yeah, it's probably better to have these. It's just too many. Some people are like, well, they're not good. Like, there's so many pay-per-views this year that was not good, and people didn't really care about it. And that shows that less premium events maybe makes it more entertaining and makes it probably, let's say, better.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so let's start with number 2, which is this will make weekly TV shows more must-see. Mainly Raw, SmackDown. If anyone watches NXT, like, I don't watch that. But mainly Raw and SmackDown, and it makes complete sense. People probably have more title matches popping up, more United States title, more women's titles, and more must-see titles matches that doesn't have to be on pay-per-view, or just miscellaneous matches that's not supposed to be on it. Just like, let's see, Braun Strowman versus Almost. That should have been on a regular pay-per-view, on a regular TV show like Raw and SmackDown, not even a pay-per-view. So that's pretty much why it makes complete sense. That'll make weekly TV shows a lot better.
And I agree with that, Bourbon, because, like, quite frankly, most of the pay-per-views of, like, last year have been, this year, have been kind of lackluster. I've been complaining, like, it's mostly stuff you would see in regular television. That kind of what AEW does on the weekly basis anyways for their specials, while doing the whole pay-per-view thing. So, well, hopefully we'll get better TV, but if Vince McMahon comes back, I don't know, man. But I doubt it.
Let's not talk about the devil until he actually does come back. Okay?
I'm going to talk about him.
That's completely fair. Let's just move on to our next point and forget about the devil.
The gimmick premium live events are simply outdated. So what do I mean by that? Just think about like Money in the Bank, Extreme Rules. Like these concepts now are just kind of looked at and they're kind of cheesy. They could just be, matches used at other pay-per-views like WrestleMania or SummerSlam or Survivor Series. Like, I'll talk more about what we could do with the Money in the Bank in our next point. But yeah, I feel like some of these premium live event names and concepts are just outdated.
So I guess y'all agree with you this time, Daniel. But like for sure, the Extreme Rules is probably one of the most outdated gimmicky PLEs because it doesn't need a pay-per-view just to have extreme matches. It's dumb. We don't have to wait once a year. Even if they do Extreme Rules like in the past before, it wasn't anything too extreme. It was pretty mid. And it basically, the only pay-per-views to really look forward to are the main 3, which is like SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania that actually count. So you can pretty much just get all the other pay-per-views and just smash it into those 3, including Crown Jewel. But that's more of a contract thing.
Right. Yeah. So we'll explain more about what I think WWE could do with the premium live event schedule every year in just a little bit. But yeah, you kind of get the point of what I'm saying. Now, let's move on to the next point. Point number 4. Money in the Bank should return to WrestleMania. So originally, when the match was created, it was created for WrestleMania at WrestleMania 21, and it was a match held there every single year from WrestleMania 21 to WrestleMania 26. Then they decided to come up with their own pay-per-view where they would do 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches or just 1 Money in the Bank ladder match every year at that show. And honestly, I don't think it really needs its own pay-per-view. It feels like it's just taking up a slot. And you could easily just have that stuff at WrestleMania, and that'll help WrestleMania, have a bigger feeling towards it, having an extreme action-packed ladder match. Or maybe 2 now, 1 for the men on night 1 and 1 for the women on night 2, or vice versa. You could do either way. And I think that's how, Money in the Bank should be handled going forward.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I loved the Money in Banks at WrestleMania. I was kind of looking forward to, and to me, sometimes I feel like they do this for like intercontinental ladder matches, which I think I actually love those things. But like, I think Money in Bank doesn't need its own pay-per-view, even though it's kind of fun, and because we are in Las Vegas, and most of the time, every Money in Bank is right now in Las Vegas, so it's a nice pay-per-view for us because it makes sense for casinos and stuff. But still, I think it would be cool to see WrestleMania bring back Money in Bank. I think that makes it more fun and more important.
Yeah. So now our final point, less is more. So I feel like WWE putting pressure on themselves to, have a pay-per-view every single month, maybe a second pay-per-view on a certain month if they can. And kind of like how we mentioned Braun versus Almost, even though it kind of was a decent little match at Crown Jewel, like they said, it could have been on a weekly show. And, you can do things like that to make the premium live events feel more important. So that's what I mean by less is more.
Exactly. And by all means, like, just having 13 pay-per-views is kind of ridiculous at this point. Like, as a beginning, I was more of a casual viewer of these pay-per-views, and slowly I've been watching the weekly television shows ever since new management took over, and it's been real interesting. But again, the pay-per-views, as of right now, they don't really add anything unless it's like the main 3, which again is Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and whatever I said before, because it adds story characters and it adds matches that actually matter. That to have like all these random ass pay-per-views that add like filler matches where it's obviously this is just what they have for the wrestler doing for the time being, because we got to fill in time. So less is more, I say. Just like the AEW thing, but don't make it as long though as them. Like, keep it reasonable.
AEW need to do less is more in the sense of shit. Oh fuck. Oh, God damn. All right, so sorry about that, y'all. We are continually having these technical difficulties going on. But yeah, this is the 2023 premium live event schedule I would have. For January, Royal Rumble. Put it in the stadium, it'll sell out. That's simple. February, Elimination Chamber is going to be a stadium show held in Canada. Canada doesn't get pay-per-views, so them getting the Elimination Chamber is something quite special. And then for March, I would have no pay-per-view at all. Take a break for that and let fans be excited for the 2-night WrestleMania, which is going to be another stadium show in the US. Then we go to May, and this is being realistic, guys. You got to keep this in mind. WWE are in contract to do 2 Saudi Arabia events a year. So I can't really change that no matter what, So we got the big 4 with Royal Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. Those 2 Saudi events, the Elimination Chamber show in Canada, and I'll even get to a few more as we go along here. So yeah, May, first Saudi event, Super Showdown, simple. June, I would have Evolution 2. The women's exclusive pay-per-view happened in 2018. I would have an arena sequel in June. July, King of the Ring, US Arena show. And just like olden times, the winner of the King of the Ring gets to face the champion at SummerSlam. That's what I think it should be. Make King of the Ring feel important again. Then, yes, August in the stadium, SummerSlam. September, Clash at the Castle, UK Stadium show. The UK Stadium show this year was just so electric. We need to go back there again. October, Crown Jewel, Saudi Stadium show. Having Crown Jewel be in November with Survivor Series. Sorry about that. Yeah, having Crown Jewel in the same month as Survivor Series felt very, hard to describe. It felt like too much content. 2 shows in a single month is ridiculous in my opinion. So yeah, put Crown Jewel in October, Survivor Series, have it be the last show of the year in November, then you get another break in December. So that's 10 pay-per-views. If you count the 2-night Mania, that would be 11. And each of them have their own purpose. You got the Big Four, you got the King of the Ring tournament, you got the exclusive women's pay-per-views, you got the Saudi attraction shows, and you got the Elimination Chamber show, which is the only gimmick pay-per-view I think makes sense really staying because it really goes along with storylines on the road to WrestleMania. Think about 2010, Jericho Undertaker Final 2, Michaels cost Taker a match, and that led to Michaels' retirement match. Stuff like that, So keep that for sure. Clash of the Castle was just so massive, that just has to happen again. So I think having those 10 shows makes the most sense.
Yeah, but there's only one. I agree with everything like this, but I would love to see. To me, my favorite pay-per-view is Hell in a Cell. They just gotta improve on the hell part of Hell in a Cell. I think that's something I would love them to put in there. Don't get me wrong, maybe they could do that more in WrestleMania, but I feel like Hell in a Cell is a great thing, and it's more like this classic match that is one of a kind.
Right. While I hear you, I love Hell in a Cell as well. Don't get me wrong. I feel like Hell in a Cell should be used whenever a feud is so intense it can only end in Hell in a Cell. Having Hell in a Cell conveniently be there in the calendar year, just once a year, just gives us a lot of Hell in a Cell matches that have not as much intensity and beef behind it as it should have. Like if we're looking at the years and years of the Hell in a Cell matches at that pay-per-view, CM Punk versus Ryback, 2012 and 2013, neither of those needed to be inside Hell in a Cell. Freaking Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan, 2013, really good match, but the cell was barely ever used. 2014, Cena Orton felt like a no DQ match prior to the Hell in a Cell. Like stuff like that to me makes me think Hell in a Cell should be used for intense rivalries instead of just having it be on the calendar year every year. But that's just how I personally see it.
Well, I think it makes sense. I even though I just like Hell in a Cell in general, but I think even though all the suggestions on all the pay-per-views makes complete sense, every single one of them makes sense. I'm just hoping that they can think, all right, maybe let's make sure that there is matches in these pay-per-views, and these pay-per-views are worth the sit down and watch if they don't ruin anything about these pay-per-views.
Fair enough. And Chris, any final thoughts you have to give?
Just keep it simple. I mean, the only pay-per-view I would love to be remaining is the Elimination Chamber, but they still do it, but it's like, I don't know, it just seems a little too short for what it is. Like maybe have like more matches in it somehow, or I don't know, like incorporate something new. Just keep the main stuff,
I'm glad they're making it a stadium show for 2023, so that'll probably mean more matches for that show.
Indeed. And that's it, man. We just need less and not many, because too many is too much.
Yeah, give every show a purpose to happen, and don't rely on gimmicks for these shows either, in my opinion. So, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Daniel.
I've been Berman.
Chris again.
See you all in the next one. Take it easy.